Throughout the year, the Welsh Triathlon Super Series has brought us some of the best races in the country. From Llanelli to Pembrokeshire, Cardiff, Bala and Tusker. Thousands have taken part across the 5 races, and over 1,000 have come for the deciding event, the Superfeet Sandman Triathlon. Set up back in 2011, the event traditionally starts with a sprint down the beach into a salty swim, varying distance depending on which event you've entered, the sprint, the classic or the legend, which is a half iron distance event. The course isn't designed to be easy, and the beach run in particular is one that sets this race apart from others. And it's a brutal event. Its reputation and the natural beauty of the location draw competitors of all levels from all over the country. The man who organises affairs here is Tim Lloyd.
This year we've got a record number of triathletes, over 1,200 people taking part over the weekend, from little children, 8 years old upwards, to people racing our legend half iron distance race. And what an amazing place to put on a triathlon, and people love it.
And it's over the sprint distance that this year's Welsh Triathlon Super Series will be decided. But with 5 wins out of 5 so far, Alex Matchett's main goal now is to finish the season off in style with a perfect 6. He depends on pretty basic skills. Get out of the water first, bike hard, stay competitive, get through the transitions quickly, and then unleash those legs. His running has been superb all the way through the series.
The whole reason I do triathlon is just for the thrill of getting out there and racing against really good competitors on tough courses as well, and that's what the series has provided. I've been tested in different ways. Each race has given me a bit more confidence. Obviously the whole aim is to win the series, and that's the main goal, but it would be amazing to get the win as well. We'll see what happens.
In the women's race, Vicky Johnson faces a slightly tougher task. She has to beat Catherine Marks by a sufficient margin to secure the title. With 2 wins already, she's shown she's strong enough to do that.
My aim this season was to win the series overall. So with a win in Cardiff and Bala and 3rd in Tusker, I think I'm in with a good shout. So that is my aim, to finish in a position high enough to make that happen.
Rhian Roxburgh isn't competitive in the series because she hasn't done enough races, but she's got a lot of local support. She's won this race before and could take the win.
It's a great race. It's one of my favourites actually. It's beautiful sand, sea, lovely ride, and the run is through the Newborough Forest there. It's beautiful.
It certainly is, and on a day like this is the race to be doing. Vicky Johnson alongside Chris Silver. He's the man who could give Alex Matchett a run for his money. He's tried a number of times this year and failed on every occasion, but maybe number 6 is his lucky number. He has to get out of T2 first. Josh Lewis, brilliant swimmer, might try to break the field up early on. Ollie Simon, still going, and still going well. But Matchett is the man to beat. The waves are nothing compared to those they encountered in Tusker, but it's still a tricky swim, swimming along the beach once they round the first buoy. They're underway, race 6 of 6. There'll be a big party tonight for those who focused on this series all the way through the season. A 400-metre swim to get this sprint event underway. That's followed by 25Ks on the bike and a 5-kilometre run. Sounds easy, but most of it's on the sand, either through the forest or along the beach. It's a real killer at the end of the day. So they'll wade their way out the majority of the way to the first buoy, and already Josh Lewis powering his way in front. They turn to their left, and then the waves will hit them from the right-hand side. Might be a good ploy just to drift a little further out to sea so you don't get hit by the broken wave. Josh Lewis from Guernsey originally, he'll be used to these conditions.
There's no point racing if you're not willing to try and win. But yeah, I think I'm in decent shape. I think it's possible. I think I need to, again, race smart, and I'm hoping to be up near the front in the race for sure. I'll definitely be trying a few things.
Well, it's a technical swim, and you hope you breathe to the left-hand side, not the right, otherwise you might get a mouthful of white water. with the tide slightly lower than many predicted. It's a tricky situation. Still Josh Lewis up there. Good swim from Ollie Simon as well. We've seen him performing on a number of occasions. And Alex Matchett, who looks as though he's slapping the water. Chris Silver in that group. I think Kieran John at the back of that group alongside Nathaniel Harris. So we've got, what, 6 athletes all vying for top position. Good little surge from Lewis as he comes out of the water. He'll be first into T1, and that's a familiar story. It's pretty good on the bike. It's the run where the rest of the field catch him. So Lewis first up the sandbank, Ollie Simon, the veteran, behind him. Chris Silver in third, light-footed Matchett in 4. 5 is Kieran John, Nathaniel Harris just behind him. A competitive start to this final event of the series, just what we wanted to see. Now we should pick up on the leading women fairly soon. Rhian Roxburgh generally does very well in the swim. T1, Chris Silver seems to drift through the transitions. Could do with gaining 15-20 seconds. Matchett seldom makes a mistake. Ollie Simon, number 89 with the disc wheel. He's going to be first out unless Matchett squeezes past him. And Lewis, who was first out of the water, is going to be down in 4th or 5th. Won't make too much difference at this stage, but this series has been about non-drafting, so you have to stay 12 metres behind. Little delay for Rhian Roxburgh, but she's the first woman out of the water. She's won this before and would love to do it again. Vicky Johnston. Can she make it 3 wins in the series out of 6? It's possible, but she needs to get her skates on. Matchett's away, and generally he rides a very canny race. He will not lead all the way. Expect Chris Silver to make a move. Josh Lewis likewise is powerful on the bike. Saw him leading a good percentage in Tusker, and just puts on the power as he goes past Nathaniel Harris and starts to chase down Alex Matchett. Always pick him out by the nodding head. Not textbook cycling, but my goodness, he's effective. He must have a fabulous VO2. The steeper the hill, the better he does relative to everyone else. And he must weigh, what, 10 kilos less than Josh Lewis, who's coming up behind him. This is what Matchett wants. Someone out in front to take the bulk of the work. He won't draft, but he will get some assistance sitting 12 metres back. Chris Silver is now in 3rd. You can see him in the red suit. Has he masterminded a plan that will finally get the better of Matchett? He's not achieved it so far this season. My feeling is he's got to go steady on the first half of the bike and then put the hammer down on the second half and try and open up a sufficient gap over Matchett to give himself that 15-20 seconds he needs. Matchett looks so relaxed there in the black and orange strip. Chris Silver into 2nd. How many times has he overtaken Matchett on the bike this year? Many, but he has never got clear, not significantly so. Roxburgh coming out of Newborough Forest, an area she knows well. She's a teacher, so a busy woman and a mum. Matchett still looking relaxed, no doubt planning his assault in T2. Lewis is leading. He's got Matchett and Silver behind him. It's the same 3 men that we saw in Tusker. The question is, which one of them's going to come out on top? Welcome back to the Superfeet Sandman Triathlon, a weekend of swim, bike and run events on the Isle of Anglesey. It is one of the most spectacular settings. Newborough Forest and Llanwyn Island looking fantastic. Tim Lloyd is the man who's planned and organised everything here.
We do it over 2 days now. It starts very early on a Saturday morning, we're here until the sun goes down on Sunday. People racing throughout the weekend, doing different races. We've got sprint distance, classic distance, legend distance, which is half iron distance. We have children's races, all the different categories for the different age groups. So it just goes on all weekend. It's absolutely brilliant.
And the elite also appreciate the need for all the other events.
Triathlon is so inclusive that there's a split between women and men, which is quite equal. But people think and they believe that they can do it. They do the training, they enjoy the structure, and I just think it's something that adults are able to do, and their kids are able to watch them, so they can become role models. I think it's just amazing.
But the toughest challenge, without a doubt, is the run at the end of the competition, that final push for the medal.
Coming off the beach at the end of the finish was unbelievable. I mean, I love this part of the world, so yeah, pretty special.
Sand dunes were the hardest at the end, and some of the trail runs, but it's all enjoyable. I loved it.
That's amazing. That's great fun. Good sport.
Forest run out of this world, so absolutely amazing event.
Conditions were really tough, but it's a fabulous venue, and it's been brilliantly organised. So, yeah, just an amazing place to go and do a triathlon, that's for sure.
I paced it well. My first one, and I finished. I've got the medal. That's all that matters today.
Really enjoyed it. Loads of support. Fantastic.
One or two aching muscles, but plenty of smiles around. The elite are still out there. Matchett in second place at the moment. Josh Lewis led out of the water, had a slow T1, but then worked his way back to the front of the field. And Matchett, of course, trying to make it his 6th victory out of 6 races. Here's Josh Lewis still powering on. Shown some good speed on the bike so far. Chris Silver has had an issue. The man in red, who had mechanicals in Tusker, has had problems with the bike again. Not quite sure what it is. I think the chain's come off a couple of times. And Matchett is not going to wait for him. As soon as the gradient changes, you see Matchett rise out of the saddle, and he opens up the gap between himself and any other competition. Ollie Simon now in 3rd place. He's done well this year. He's better known for a long distance racer. We see him in quite a few iron distance races. But he's kept himself sharp by entering the Super Series this season. So Matchett, Lewis, Simon, now the order, and Chris Silver, we hear, a minute and a half or so behind these 3. He's now got a huge amount of work to do to get back into contention. Ollie Simon gets his first feel of the lead in this race.
It's literally going to be tactics out the window. It's just a race, go for it, straight from the gun, see if you can drop them on the bike and hold on to any kind of lead if I can get one on the run, but obviously that's going to entail taking risks and things, so yeah, we'll have to see how it goes.
Well, it's going pretty well at the moment for Ollie Simon. He's got the lead. He had the lead in Pembrokeshire but couldn't hold off Matchett. But Simon and Lewis should have a good battle. Brian Roxburgh hasn't put a foot wrong so far. First out of the water and is going well on the bike. They're coming back towards Newborough, and of course that means that T2 is approaching. We usually see Matchett put in a little burst as he approaches T2. He's been so relaxed, hasn't got caught up in the cat and mouse, hasn't wanted to do too much leading. Here he goes. He's going to steal himself some 20-30 metres coming up the climb. Lewis is taken by surprise. Ollie Simon happy to just keep the pace the same. And you can almost guarantee that if Matchett is first into transition, he's going to be first out.
He's very race smart. He's done it for a very long time, so he's able to conduct himself in a race very well and use his strengths as and when they're needed, really. So especially in the run.
So nothing between the leading 3 as they come into the transition. Here is Chris Silver. Good to see he's still in the race, but he's given away some advantage. I think first is probably out of the question, but he can certainly go for a top 2. Matchett's away, and watch how quickly he gets into that beautifully smooth running style of his. Ollie Simon some 20-30 metres behind. Chris Silver's away. He's moved up a place in transition. Josh Lewis having a bit of a nightmare, going to the wrong station initially. Match it. He's clear. 50, 60, 70 metres at least ahead of the opposition. And Chris Silver already past Ollie Simon. Another problem with the bike, costing him any chance of getting the win. Well, he has produced the fastest running time in 2 of the races so far in the series, but on both occasions, Matchett wasn't really under pressure. It would have been nice to see Silver come into T2 20, 30 seconds clear. Then Matchett really would have been under pressure. Very light-footed, tricky trails. You need different skills from road running. And actually, it probably helps to be 4 or 5 inches shorter than Chris Silver is. Ollie Simon plodding away. It's a style, a tempo that works well over the long distance. Josh Lewis squeezes through, so he's now into 3rd. Simon down into 4. And by my reckoning, whichever of these 2 has the better finishing position will finish 3rd in the series overall. So lots at stake between Lewis and Simon. That is going to be an interesting battle. They still have the beach section to come. And here's the leader of the women's event, Ryn Roxburgh. She's overtaking men one after the other, could finish in the top 10 overall. Vicky Johnson in 2nd, trying to secure victory in the series. At the moment, she's looking good. Rebecca Lodge has gone through in 3rd. This is Catherine Marks, who needs to get as close to Johnson as possible if she is going to be the series champion. It's not easy running here in the Newborough Forest, and Matchett looking for the firmest footing possible. Even though it's a little longer, he's keeping that speed as high as possible. Beautiful running, really intelligent racing. Chris Silver, deceptively fast. He's tall, little twist to the ankle, but I think he's got away with that one. Ruining that problem with the bike he had earlier on. And here is the final stage. It's very, very tough. Matchett and 1 or 2 other athletes down on the beach earlier looking for the firm footing. Really just try and put your foot where someone else has been before. Well, since Silver dropped off on the bike, he's not really seen Matchett, but he might just reach the beach in time to see him turning to his right and heading up into the finish area. It's been an impeccable series for Alex Matchett. Here's the battle for 3rd and 4th, and Ollie Simon has regained the lead over Josh Lewis. Those 2 going for 3rd place in the series overall. 20 metres or so. Looks as though Lewis pushed too hard on the first K.5 of this race to overtake Ollie Simon. And the veteran is pulling away. Great strength. Matchett qualifying as a doctor this year. It has been a busy summer and a highly successful one. Interesting to follow his progress in the future. Alistair Brownlee, of course, was halfway through his medical training when he decided to go full-time triathlon. 6 out of 6. It's very, very seldom that anyone achieves that in a sport as tough as this. Matchett is the champion.
It certainly hasn't been easy, and I've had to work really hard at points. So I'm really happy to have sort of come through that and get the 6 wins.
And here comes Chris Silver. He's been a bit unlucky. He just needs to think the race through. 2nd place again.
Another 2nd, living up to my name, Silver. But yeah, I was happy with another 2nd overall. It's a bit frustrating on the bike. My chain came off a couple of times, so I had to kind of hammer it to get on the back coming into T2 and then try and stick with Alex, but I think he was already gone by that point.
Ollie Simon, little smile, and that's because he's back on the podium and secures 3rd in the series.
I'm really happy that I managed to get the 3rd place there, so I've secured my kind of podium slot. I had to work hard for it today. My heart rate was through the roof from literally the off.
to the end.
Yeah, he did a lot of the donkey work on the bike. There are your results. 1:01.54 for Alex Matchett. 19 seconds in it, silver second, Simon third, and Josh Lewis in the end pushed down a 4. The series title, well, it goes to Alex Matchett, of course. Unbeaten this season. Silver, Simon, Lewis, Manson making up the top 5. Well, what a day it's been. Competitive men's race and a demonstration of veteran strength in the women's event. Rhian Roxburgh has never looked back. Brilliant swim. She's always been good in the swim, but her bike ride was strong and her run has been nothing but determined. She's not given anyone else a chance. She'll enjoy this victory. She has, of course, won here before. And this is Vicky Johnson, who's in second place, and that will be good enough to secure the win in the series. Rebecca Lodge is third, and this is Catherine Marks, who's lying in fourth place. She did win the first event of the series in Llanelli. She's put up a good fight all the way along, but today just didn't have enough to get up into the top 3. Rhian Roxburgh, big smile on her face, defying the years. She showed her experience today.
I try to not think about the pressure anymore these days. I used to let it really affect me, but now I just try and think about the things that I can control and not worry about anyone else or what pressure might be on me. So I just went out from the start and I'm really thrilled.
And here is the series winner, solid in Cardiff, won again in Bala. Today she's second.
The swim, didn't even know where I was coming out of the water, so I just had to get my head down. I felt good on the bike, but I had a few issues with my back wheel, so I had to stop a few times, and then the run was just survival. The sand was really hard to run on, so the aim today really was just to finish as high up as I could to secure the overall series, so happy to have done that.
And a big congratulations to her for that. But it's Rhian Roxburgh who takes the win today, 109.48. Very, very impressive. In the series, Johnson on top with 2 wins and 2 other podiums. Catherine Marks and Katie Greenwood both getting a win apiece early on in the season. And Emma Palfrey deserves a mention. She's been solid throughout the series. So the champagne is flowing. The champions will celebrate. It has been a terrific season, and a massive thanks owed to the venues and the race organisers throughout who've made it all possible. And of course, congratulations to everyone who took part, not just the winners. It's been a fabulous first season of the Welsh Triathlon Super Series.